Welcome back, everyone, to the FloTrack podcast. It is Wednesday. I am Kevin. He is Gordon. Going to preview the Doha Diamond League today. And look, we've been doing this podcast. I mean, we're near on 500 episodes, but today we're debuting a new segment, Gordon. So something to get excited about, something new, something fresh. We're going to trot out Guess My PR, the brainchild of Gordon Mack today. I'm very, very pumped.
It's my brainchild? I didn't know this was my brainchild.
You came up with it. Now
I did?
Travis really made it happen. He's got the graphics. He's been going back and forth with people trying to get video and photo to really beef up the segment. And of course, all consequential decisions are going to come down to Colt pressing the right button when the segment comes. But I remember in the meeting, you're like, "Hey, let's do Guess My PR," and I was like, "Hey, this is a good idea." So I'm excited. The reception has been terrific. So we're gonna get to that in the back half of the show. But now I'm thinking I'm gonna be very bad at this because I will only be able to guess people's PRs if they're around times that I'm familiar with. And that excludes a lot of events and a lot of speeds, typically on the faster side of speeds. Like if we got an email from Joshua C from Uganda telling me his 5K workout, I would be completely lost. I wouldn't know what a world record holder's workouts look like because it's faster and faster you get. You're like, oh, I don't know. Is he in 1330 shape? Is he in 1245 shape? So this could go horribly wrong, but I'm excited that we're gonna do
Yeah. I think it's going to go horribly right. I think I'm going to get everyone's PR down to the exact second. So
it.
we'll see how good it is.
So we got some new stuff on the site this week in track. Went up. We have a race breakdown. And then Workout Wednesday, Gordon. What is the subject of Workout Wednesday this week?
This week, it's already up on the site. It's Duke heptathlete Erin Marsh, who 3-time All-American. She was runner-up indoor pentathlon this year. So she's won. She's going to go up against Anna Hall outdoors. But she did a little bit of a high jump and a hurdle workout all in one.
Mhm.
Not at the exact same time. She did the hurdle first, then high jump second. She didn't do a. That would be actually kind of interesting if her run up to the high jump pit was going over hurdles, because that would be kind of wild. She didn't do that. She kept it separate. But workout Wednesday, the Duke heptathlete. So check it out.
And I think I remember you saying at the time this is the first high jump workout you had ever been a part of.
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. I know we did a workout Wednesday with Ashton Eaton, and he was doing a bunch of crazy things, but I wasn't there for that, so I don't know.
Mm, yeah, I was there for this one. Good workout. People should check it out on the site. We got the ranking show coming up later on in the week as well. So check all that out either on the site or on the FloTrack, the main YouTube page. Before we get going in the rest of the show, Gordon, I know you texted me about this Justin Gatlin interview that he did with I Am Athlete. That's the show that features Ocho Cinco and Brandon Marshall, where they interview famous athletes. This is a pretty long edition of their show. They're like 60 minutes just with Justin Gatlin, just on Justin Gatlin. What stuck out to you about the interview? Because they touched on a whole bunch of topics.
Yeah, well, the first thing that stuck out was there was a moment in the interview, like halfway through, when Justin was talking about training with Sha'Carri, and he said that he saw Sha'Carri run 10.3 hand time in 100. 10.3. Guys, that's really fast. World record. Shattering the world record. And he said he saw it. He said, yeah, she would run 10.3, 10.5s in practice. And I'm like,
Mhm.
did he just tell us that Sha'Carri Richardson is running world record times in practice? Like, what's going on? Now, obviously, we know that
Hand times.
it's going to be hand time, but still, hand time 10.3 is pretty damn fast. I thought that was crazy, and then it makes you think, like, you want to see Sha'Carri on the track now. Like, she's
Mhm.
running 10.3s in practice. I want to see her on the real scene, but I guess we'll have to wait. And then they talked a little bit about, you know, Sha'Carri and, the celebrity and the chaos surrounded her with everything that's gonna be going on. But yeah,
Mhm.
the 10-3 was what I heard that was like the most crazy thing. I mean, do you think she was running 10-3 in practice?
No, not the way that we would measure a 10-3 in a competition. I mean, when you have hand time, you're adding on time. You don't know if it was a flying start. They were just they're there kind of going back and forth. Like there were definitely some liberties taken with certain topics. I mean, even on the intro, he's one of two guys to beat Usain Bolt, and they're not the first people to say this. So I don't blame them for it, but that's just not true. There's not been only two people in history who've beaten Usain Bolt. There were two people in that one race that beat Usain Bolt, but there's not been two people in history that have beaten Usain Bolt. The list is longer than that. He was very high on Richardson. I mean, what did he say? She's going to be the greatest. She could be the greatest track and field athlete ever, right? Because
Ever.
like greatest
Yeah.
American. He's like, no, she could be the greatest sprinter ever. He said what separates her is her technique. She's got this natural stride that is just conducive to sprinting. He talked about the pressure of her rise, and I think you brought up a really good point on one of those sections because they're like basically like, hey, what was the issue here? And he said he took us back to 19. She wins the NCAA title as a freshman, runs that crazy time, and then it's just like up and up from there, right? The expectations only increase from there. Now, there was no 2020, so there was a lower profile there, but she went from basically college freshman to most recognizable US track star in the blink of an eye. And he was talking about the struggles and the difficulties dealing with that. I mean, he trained with her, so it doesn't surprise me that he's going to be optimistic about what she can do, but the specifics of a 10-3, I mean, wouldn't be the first time you've heard someone say a crazy time in practice. It's just like when he's talking about his 40-yard dash, because remember he had some tryouts for NFL teams, and then he's saying how I worked out with one team and it was 4-2, and then it was 4-1, and then like the time just kept getting faster and faster. I think it was the Titans who told him he had a 3.9. Now, I don't doubt that someone told him that he ran a 3.9, but I have trouble believing he ran a full 2 tenths faster than Christian Coleman did when Coleman did his 40, which was filmed and pretty well documented.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's hand times are always going to be a little bit, legendary stories. But yeah. I mean, I'm just surprised. Yeah, the 10-3, I was like, wait, whoa, it's fast, man. It's like,
Yeah.
do you think we'll ever even see a 10-3 in the real world, like by a woman? Not,
Not during our lifetime.
not in our
Yeah.
lifetime.
Not in our lifetime. Here's a way you know when someone's not too sure about the time is when they're like, 10-3, 10-4. Like the time
Yeah.
was the like you got to be a little more precise with the time for us to be like, oh wow, that really happened. I know like field eventers often talk about practice PRs, and those ones I put a lot more stock in just because I think you're not going head to head when you're in a main competition, right? Like you're taking your turn to throw or you're taking your turn to jump. And obviously you can screw up a measurement, but I think that's less likely than you having fully automatic timing out there for 100 or a 200. And there's a lot of different ways that people communicate practice PBs. So running wise, I find it hard to believe. And this is a topic we talked about before. Like, has a world record ever been run, or has there ever been a world record achieved in practice? I don't I don't think so. I lean against that. The other topic they touched on was um, payment, athlete payment. I think he said he made $1 million. He was making $1 million per year. They really drilled down on him. This was a good section because like, hey, how much you make? And then he answered, "Oh, wait, how much did you make?" Because they're comparing themselves. You got NFL players there, right? So they're very public about their salaries. And again, I don't know how definitive the number was, but he basically, I don't know if he ballparked. He said a million. He was making 1 million a year. And you don't know at what stage in his career he's talking about, but that was before endorsements. That was just, I'm assuming that's appearance fees, prize money. I don't, maybe he's talking about that's just his base money and not bonuses. But at minimum, he was saying it was 1 million a year.
Yeah, and then I think the main headline that came out that kind of hit up the Twitter conversation is he said that there should be a union, a track and field athlete union. And okay, hear me out. Yes, that would be great. But who is the union bargaining with? If you can tell me who the union is bargaining with, then it makes sense. But who is on the other side of an athlete union? Is it World Athletics? Because that doesn't make any sense. Because
Mhm,
what does World Athletics have to do with the random Stanford meet that you ran at? There's nothing to do
mhm,
with
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is it USATF? Okay, then what does USATF have to do with uh, pen relays? USATF isn't involved with pen relays at all. Like, we don't have a structure that a union would be able to bargain with because the governing bodies aren't the ones who pay the athletes. It's the sponsors. So if you're going to have a union, you're going to have a union against Nike's marketing company, against
Mhm, mhm.
New Balance's shoe deal contracts. Like
Right.
the you can't just say the word union and then like boom, it works. We're good. Now we're going to get all the money we need and healthcare and all that stuff. Unions work in professional sports like the NBA, the NFL because the revenue of those sports is structured between the 30 owners and the
Mhm,
1,500 athletes.
mhm.
Where are the 30 owners in track and field? There aren't. There's no other side of the sport because let me tell you, a lot of meet directors lose money. They act like they make money. They don't. They lose money. The World Athletics, they're just trying to break even a lot of times when they struggle to get a full on sponsorship for their
Yeah.
world championships. These athletes think track and field is just a money producing superpower the way the NFL and MLB and NBA are. And it's just not that way. Like you look at the commercials you see on TV during a track meet and look at the commercials you see on TV during a football game. And you can tell, okay, clearly football is getting paid a lot more for their commercials than track and field. When you see a
Mhm.
random track and field commercial, you're like, that's a weird commercial to see on TV. It's like, yeah, because no one wanted to buy that time slot. And that's just the reality of the sport. And I just think this whole idea of like, oh, we get a union. And again, I would love it for it to work out that way. I would love it for the athletes to be able to negotiate with whatever this entity is. But first, you have to create this entity to
Yeah, yeah,
negotiate
yeah.
against. And we don't have that
Well,
entity.
the
It doesn't
point that he
exist.
made yeah, I agree with what you're saying. The point that he made that introed that segment, he was saying how he was at the London Olympics and the 100 was about to start and all these NBA players came in to watch the 100 and the whole world focuses on this one event every 4 years for 9 seconds and like how do we capture that? Because everybody's attention and interest is on it, but then it's fleeting. But the reason why it's a problem is self-evident in the question, which is every 4 years. That's the problem. Is it's only every 4 years. And the people, right, that are involved in that are ever changing. You have a Bolt, right? You have an Allison Felix. You have people who are mainstays and become popular, but it's hard to sustain a sport where that interest level that he's talking about, although it is high, it's only high once every 4 years. And then you get into this other discussion where is track one sport or is track 30, 40 different sports, cut up into one. And you're right.
Then you talk,
Even other individual sports, such as tennis or golf, there is that ability to have some back and forth because there is a main tour. You could see this perhaps happening with major marathons because there's the world marathon majors. But even still, how are the athletes getting the majority of their money? Those individual shoe contracts.
yeah. And I just think that you go talk about problems every 4 years. Also, the problem, I've said this on this podcast many times or just in my time at FloTrack, our sport will never be able to financially be a revenue driver for the athletes until they change what the pinnacle of our sport is. If the pinnacle of our sport is an event that you can't make money off of because it's an amateur event and the sponsorships are all separate, aka the Olympics. When you talk to an NBA basketball player, what's the pinnacle of their sport? It's winning an NBA title. When you
Mhm.
talk to a golfer, what's the pinnacle of their sport? It's winning a Masters, a US Open, or British Open. None of them are going to say it's winning an Olympic title because their financial structure around their sport is not centered around Olympics. That's the main problem. We center our sport around an event, the Olympics, which limits the ability for these athletes to. I mean, we see it, with the whole like once you become an Olympian, you're just covered in Nike and it's done. Like, sorry, New Balance, you can't do it anymore. Like, so why would we need to? I mean, no one's going to want to do it because we love it. We love representing your country. It's like great, and I get it. The Olympics are awesome, and there's a reason why LeBron James still does the Olympics. Because it is a great feeling and it's a great thing for our society to have this run for your country. But at the end of the day, the athletes who are getting paid the most are the athletes whose Super Bowl is not the
Mhm.
Olympics. And you look at that's the issue. I mean, if we were able to some way, I don't know how, to flip track and field upside down, where the Olympics was the icing and not the cake. And if you were able to do that and the cake was actually a structured 4 major sport, then things might start happening. But until that, if we keep on saying the only thing that matters is every 4 years, it's going to be hard to create a structure around that. I mean, yeah. So that's why it's always going to be an individual case by case basis. And that's why the only way to make money in our sport is on an individual case by case basis where you individually get your own sponsorship deal. You individually negotiate your own appearance fee. You individually win a race. It's,
Mhm.
it's until that you have to take that. Yeah, until you have a structure, it's always going to be individual. So, and that's why there are people who make a lot of money individually. I'm sure Sydney's doing well, Christian Coleman's doing well, Gatlin clearly was doing well, but right now it's only going
Mhm.
to be the ones who are at the very tippy top who are going to get paid, and everyone else who's trying to make it, they're doing it out of charity until they make it to the big moment. And they have to also make it to the big moment in an important event. Because if you make it to the big moment in the race walk, it's not going to be the
Mhm.
same as making it to the big moment in the 100-meter dash.
All right, let's move on. We got a couple other stories I want to get to before we preview the Doha Diamond League and get to guess my PR. So we had this Kentucky Derby race where Rich Strike came from behind. People were saying it was perhaps the greatest comeback in sports history. But then we found this clip on Twitter, and it's the daughter of Terrence Crawford, 7-year-old daughter of Terrence Crawford, who's a boxer running in a youth track meet. And I submit to you, Gordon, that this might be the greatest comeback in sports history. She loses her shoe at the beginning of the race. And does she run without her shoe and come back? No, she stops and puts her shoe back on, costs herself like 7, 8 seconds, gets her shoe back on her foot, then rallies and wins the race by about 10 meters. Just an incredible comeback here. I give her immense credit for being able to put your shoe back on that quickly under pressure because that is not easy to do. Think about when you're in a rush to leave your house. Perhaps you have a doctor's appointment. Perhaps you're trying to take your kid to school. It is so hard to get your shoe on in a quick amount of time. Sometimes you think you're saving time by not untying your laces, and it just makes it way more difficult. And then you're just struggling trying to kick your toes to the front of the shoe and get it in. She got it back on somehow and just ran all these girls down.
Yeah, extremely impressive. It also makes you think like, what heat was she in? Because if she didn't lose her shoe, she would have won by like 100 meters. Yeah, they definitely didn't put the correct seed times. it. I mean, I guess she was in the middle, the middle lane, so
Mhm.
clearly she was the top seed. But yeah, very impressive. Uh, love
Poised.
to see it. I mean, we kind of sometimes see that in like distance races, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
in a marathon or a 10K, you'll see them stop to like fix the shoe because it's not worth trying to run shoeless. What's the when we get to? I mean, this isn't crazy because she did it in the 200 meters. No one puts their shoe
Yeah,
back on in the 200 meters. But
I know.
what's the length of distance when it's okay to stop?
At the pro level,
Yeah,
I would say 1,500 they keep going. Steeple 3,000 and up, you put the shoe back on. There's obviously been some exceptions, and it depends at what point the shoe comes off. I remember Jenny Simpson losing a shoe in a 1,500. But I think if it's early on in a 5, you pull off to the side and readjust. I just like she went back to do it too. She ran so fast, she went out of her shoes, then went back. She did everything she could to try to make this a fair fight, to make this an even race, and she still wins.
yeah. I also, it's always interesting how shoes come off randomly. It's like, how's that happen? Like, how does a shoe come off when she's about to start, but it stays on when she's sprinting as fast as she can for 200 meters? The
Also,
science doesn't add up.
the audio is great. If you haven't watched the clip, you should watch it because the cheers get like louder and louder and louder as she goes when people see what she's about to do. It's incredible. What do you think the cutoff is for distance where you'd stop?
I think I think 3,001 meters. I don't think you take your shoe off for a 3K.
What if it's a steeple though?
Yeah, you get some splinters in your foot. Ooh, that would suck.
That would hurt. That would be
That would
really
hurt.
painful.
I mean, running just shoeless is gonna suck no matter what. If we're being
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Oh man, bottom of your foot. Tracks are not comfortable for your feet. Oh, I don't know. I
Did
don't
you
even want to
see
think about
this?
it.
Yeah. Another clip I saw was interesting. The camera crew at the Japanese championships. Did you see this? They are trying to get a shot of the winner, but they don't realize that there's lap runners coming. Honestly, I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often. The issue too, then they get tangled in the cords. You see the video there. The guy keep going gets caught in the camera cords as well too. Um, and then the other runners behind have to like swerve way wide. So yeah, I'm surprised. There's a lot going on at a track meet, and I could totally see the scenario where the producer's like, get the winner," and the cameraman's, "All right, we're gonna run over there. We're gonna shoot this, shoot the victory shot," and then not even realize that there's 5, 10 people right in front of them.
Yeah, lapped runners. I this. Do you know what this tells me? If it's a championship race and you're lapped, you're done. You can't keep running.
Step off. Mm.
Step off. There should be. You should not be allowed to be lapped in a champ. The whole point of a championship race is to decide a winner. And if you're getting lapped, you're not going to win. So
What if you're
you
in
got to step
third
off the
though?
track.
What if there's just a huge disparity between first and third, so you can still qualify
Still,
for
you got to step off
championships?
the track. You got to step off the
Okay.
track. It's embarrassing for the country for third place to be 400 meters back.
What if you get lapped by a high schooler and you're a pro runner? What do you have to do then?
That happens. That's probably going to happen. I'm keeping my list for the record on the high school situation because Colin Solomon beat some pros at the sound running meet. I haven't
Mhm.
forgotten, so they should all retire.
What do you what do you think? So this guy, this main guy here, who bears the brunt of this because he gets like an XLR cable to the face, basically. What do you think he tells people after the race when they say, "Hey, how did it go out there?" Oh,
Do you think?
I got 18th, but here's the thing: a camera
Do you think
crew
he
ran in front of me.
maybe he could petition and like try to get the results overturned to be like, hey, we need to do a rerun. I wasn't given a
Yeah,
fair shake. You got to run the whole race.
I'm looking at the comments here of your post about runners needing to retire if they get beat by high schoolers. Were people mostly in favor of this? That's
Hey,
interesting.
people
They
quietly agree with me and then
mm,
publicly pretend they don't. I just
wow.
think that like we sometimes we get a little too like you're trying hard, so that's enough. Like
Mhm.
we respect because again, you're running 4 flat in a mile. I'll never be able to do that in my life. Never could do it in a past life. You are a very rare breed of a human being. But
Mhm.
our sport is not for 4 flat milers. Our sport is for 350 to 355 miles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's let's do Doha. First Diamond League meet of the season takes place on Friday. That's the Doha Diamond League. Walk me through. Let's start with this men's 200. Fred Curley, Noah Lyles, Andre DeGrasse. You got two of the three medalists there. And then in addition, you have Curley, who we think is obviously going to be in the mix in multiple sprint events this year. Break this one down for me, Gordon.
well, I think this is going to be a lot of pressure on Noah Lyles. I think DeGrasse Curley can be like, guys, I'm still trying to figure out the 200. So whatever he does is always going to be like he's moving up or back, but like he's always going to be focused on the 100. DeGrasse coming off of an Olympic title, he kind of can just chill and be like, all right, win or lose, I'm Andre freaking DeGrasse. No, no, but Noah Lyles, he needs to have a response to what Arian Knighton just did. Arian Knighton, fellow Adidas runner, Loa Lyles, not that long ago, was the Arian Knighton of our time, right? He was the phenom high school kid getting fourth at the trials and then
Mm-hmm.
running very well his, 18, 19, and 20-year-old ages. And we started comparing Noah Lyles to Usain Bolt. But now looking
Right.
back on it, the times that Lyles was running at that early age are nothing compared to what Knighton is doing. And I think Lyles needs to find a way to hold on to that mantle as the top guy in the US. And this could be a perfect way for him to be like, yeah, 1949 is cool, but I'm going to come out here and throw down. I think he needs to throw down at least a 19.7 to say, like, guys, don't forget about me. I think 19.7 or faster. Doesn't need to run a 19.4. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if he runs a
Yeah.
19.7, it's like, guys, all right, I'm cruising 19.7s in Doha. Just give me a few more weeks, and I'll be ready to take down the child of Arian Knighton.
I think I think that 1949 put pressure on everybody, not just Lyles, because DeGrasse is the gold medalist in this event. Curly, this could end up being his best event. I think he puts pressure on everybody. But with Lyles specifically, I do think it's important because I want to see which way the season's going to go. And I think indoors, he was really good. And I thought it was trending one way. But then we have these hundreds that look more like his 2021 hundreds than his 2019 100s. And then he runs 1986 in Claremont, which is solid. But last year, early season, Mount Sac ran 1990. Um, ran faster than that at the trials. But then we obviously know what happened at the Olympics. So I'm just curious to see what are we gonna can we get any more info about Lyles? And I'm with you. I think if he's 19.7, it's on for sure. 1980, I guess we could say a push, and then 1990, I think you. I mean, I have Knight number one right now. I would keep him. I would keep him number one unless Lyles does do something spectacular out there. But he has the capability of doing it. The other part of it, the wild card here is Lyles does have the bye. So he doesn't need to be able to beat Knighton or anybody else until the World Championships. So we got to think about that factor as well. But yeah, it should be a good one. The other one I'm looking at with another world champion from Doha coming back, men's eight with Donovan Brazier going up against a pretty stout field. And the men's eight, a lot of parity. There's no one guy if Brazier's not on top of his game. It's a wide open race. I think if Brazier's on top of his game, there's nobody who can beat him. But Bryce Hopple's in here, Wyclef Kinyamal, Marco Arop, Peter Bull, like some solid Diamond League competition for Brazier's first 800 of the year. What do you expect to see from him?
Well, First of all, I only plan on watching him in this race. I don't care what any of these other runners do. I don't care what any of the Kenyans do. I don't care what Sawinski does. He's probably pacing. I don't care what uh,
Oh, is
Arop
Hopple
does,
out?
Bala, Bolt, nothing.
Hopple's a
All I
scratch, I
care
guess.
about there's no Hopple. All I care about is what Donovan Brazier does. I'm not even gonna be watching the other athletes because I want to know:
That might be
are
tough.
we getting the dude back? Are we getting the guy who ran 140 freaking two? Like, are we getting that? Obviously, we're not going to get a 142 this weekend, but he did the indoor season. He wasn't running the 800. He was kind of doing the 400s, then the 4 by
Yeah.
4 thing, and ran a 600. But now I'm starting to believe all 600 times are bullshit and just not real. So I'm not going to put any weight on a 600 time anymore. Um,
Gordon
so
turned on
he's
the 600. Man,
I did 600
a
is
falling
worse.
out.
Yeah, no, come on. Yeah, I can run a 115 600. That's not true. I cannot run a 115
No,
600.
no.
I can run a
Fact check false.
115 200. That's for sure. Um, but all eyes are on Donovan, and I just want to see what he does. And I want to see. I'm hoping for greatness. I'm hoping to see something positive. I'm hoping to see like a win or a fast time, either or. And so then I could be like, all right, 800 is back for Donovan. He's the guy. He's the one everyone's chasing. We're going to get excited again for a Brazier versus Hopple rematch. Get excited for Murphy versus Brazier. Get excited for whoever the young guy is coming out of college, like a Brandon Miller versus Brazier. But right now, the Brazier, we just don't have the versus Brazier. We just have all these other guys just running 145s and
Yeah.
flip flopping all over the place. I need the main man to be back to 2019 self. And so we'll see. He's been rested, I guess. And I'm just hoping we see something good. And we'll get a lot of data from it. We'll know. Because if he goes out there and runs like a 147 and finishes like fourth,
Hmm.
then Brazier just becomes another dude. It's gonna be hard for me to put stock into him as the 2019 champ.
This event's been hibernating for a while. Would you agree?
Yeah, because of Brazier. Brazier's been out, so it's been hibernating.
Maybe they awake from their slumber in Doha. Again, it's tough. Debut, big flight, time zone change. I won't bury him after this one race, but I think he's good enough to where he has the ability to put something out there. You're right. That reminds us why he was the world champion. And his indoor season totally inconclusive because he didn't run any 800s, but the 6 was good. And then you're like, all right, maybe he'll just put down such a sick 400 that we'll have to take stock in his 8, but that never came. We saw some 6s, but we saw some 4s, but none of them were like, they didn't wow us compared to what we thought he was capable of. Women's quarter, Shawnee Miller-Weibo. Paulino's in there, so that's silver, gold and silver from Tokyo. Stephanie McPherson, Lena Irby, and then women's two, Gabby Thomas, Asher Smith, Tamara Clark, Sharika Jackson. That's a pretty solid field. We have talked about how loaded the women's two is this year. Between those two events, any particular athlete you looking towards?
I mean, Shawty Miller Weibo, obviously, she's going to show, the 400. It's kind of the women's 400. It's been kind of not that flashy yet. And I think the main reason is um, the top 400-meter dogs just aren't running early. I mean, you look even on the men's side, like just a 400 in general, it takes time for it to kind of pick up. And maybe Shawnee Miller Weibo goes out there, runs a 49, and we're like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
400 is gonna be legit. So I'm kind of just looking forward to seeing a rejuvenation of the women's 400-meter field, and then I'm really excited for Gabby Thomas. She's been running well. She is going to be the baseline for how the U.S. 200-meter field plays out, and if she continues to run well, win big races, run fast times, it gets me more and more excited for that 200-meter U.S. final when the college women come in and they go up against Gabby and the rest of the crew, and we get something special because I do believe the women's 200 can become one of the marquee events in 2022.
Mhm. Do you think we talked about beginning of May being the cutoff time? Do you think that in terms of like ranking purposes, do you start moving people off who we haven't seen yet at this point in the season? There's some event exceptions, right? You're not going to move a 10,000-meter runner off because people don't run 10,000s that often. But at this point, are you moving people down? I mean, you wouldn't move Warholm, but what do you think about
That's the
that
thing. See, that's what I hate
situation?
about this. Ah, you wouldn't move Warholm, and like everyone is always going to be like, well, you can. That's what I like. That's what's
Because
so
he's
hard about
signed up to
ranking
race and
athletes.
he's a world record. Yeah, but what would you do? I'm just curious
I
because I
think
need to
this is the
update my
deadline. I
rankings.
think we said May 1st was a deadline. I think the deadline is this weekend. I think after this
Okay.
weekend, you haven't run. Because there's like a big like Puerto Rico meet where a bunch of Americans are running at. That will be add some more data. Because not
Mhm.
everyone can go to a Doha Diamond League.
Okay,
We had
but
the sound running meet. We're gonna have this meet, and then we'll have that Puerto Rico meet. I think all that combined will be like, if you haven't run by now, you've been given so many opportunities.
what
Clearly
about
something's up.
McLaughlin? What about she hasn't run a 400 hurdle, but run a high hurdle? You're just saying you need to run something.
You need to run something. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
You don't need to run your event, but you need to run something.
All right. I might do that for the rankings. But then I need to carve out a Warholm exception. I think I'm allowed to use one wild card here. Um, his event's going to be good this in Doha, and I wish he was there. Benjamin Dos Santos, Samba, McMaster. I mean, that's that top. Well, the top group is the top group. We know who that is, but don't forget how fast that next three are with Dos Santos, Samba, and McMaster. This could be good. Benjamin running the 48 last week. Now he's going to have to run harder because we saw what shape Dos Santos was in when he ran that 400 in 44. This is going to be a 47 race this time, and I expect Benjamin will be ready for that. But that's a good 400 hurdle race. And then on the distance side, women's 3,000 and men's 1,500. Women's 3,000, you got Faith Kipyegon and Francine Niensaba. I'd say Niensaba is just the favorite just based on distance. Remember, she's not permitted to run anything shorter than that. Like she ran the 2,000. Anything shorter in a I was gonna say championship event, but the
1,500
3,000 is not a
mile.
championship either. But yeah, she can't run a mile to 400. Anyway, uh, and then men's 15, you got Timothy Cherry, McSwain, Kip Sang, who we just saw, who ran 331 at altitude, Kajelka, and Samatwo. So these are good. These are very balanced fields too, but a lot of superstars.
This is my moment when I would say we don't have this in track and field, but if there were features, get your feature in on Kip Sang now, because once he beats Chariot this weekend, everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, Kip Sang, he's the guy." I have a feeling he's
Yeah,
gonna beat him. I'm thinking Kip Sang's gonna beat. I think he's gonna win this 1,500.
this is a chance for him because he's clearly sharp
Yeah.
and he's running with basically no fear now. So I'm excited to see it. That's the Doha meet on Friday. All right, let's do guess my PR and then YouTube comments. So remember to participate. You can text. Let's see, what can you text? You can text PR. That makes sense. 31032. So you can text PR to 31032. Leave a comment on YouTube, or you can email us, flotrackpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks to Scott and Ryan for messaging us. We'll get them in the coming weeks. We got a lot of response for this, so we want to just focus on two. So we had two athletes send us workout splits as well as some photos and videos. Gordon and I, we haven't seen any of the messages. Don't know what the PRs will be. As we reveal the workouts, you can put a comment in the chat. So we want people to guess too, along with us, what you think their PRs are. And then before we reveal it, we'll ask for guesses. And then Gordon and I will make our final guesses. So the first person, Philip. Let's get Philip's info up here on the screen. We got video of Philip. So this is
He looks good.
uh, 800 and 1,500 is what we're trying to guess. He's from Ireland. He also emailed in with some pronunciation. He said, my fellow Irishman, Cathal Dennehy, which is what you and I say, Cathal, is pronounced Cahill. He is far too polite to correct you. So
Wow. All right. So am I supposed to
we
guess
got
this guy's PR based off of a
no, we got
4-second clip? Because that would be
No,
We
no, no.
good.
have
We have
we have one video and 3 workouts, and then we'll guess
yeah.
Okay.
PR based off that. So that was the
Okay.
video. Here's the first workout.
All right, we'll throw this up. 3 times 700. Wow.
God dang
He's
it.
really making this difficult with this
I have no
700
idea what
meter
that
rep.
means. What the hell does that even mean?
145.8, 145.5, 147.2. All right, so that means
Am I allowed?
he's
I can do a
he's
little bit
not
of
running
math.
145. All right, that's workout
What
1. The 700-meter workout.
what is that
Making
pace
it
wise? Okay, divided by
I don't know.
700
Yeah, that's what you got to just know. Put the next
equals.
one up. Let's
Workout
keep
Might be
2.
going.
worse. It's 2 minute
Three
pace is
time
what he was running.
3 times 8-minute tempo with 1 minute rest. 514, 508, 509.
Okay.
Remember, we're going to ultimately guess his 800 and 1500 PBs.
All right. And then the last workout here, guys.
Yeah, I'm getting closer. 600, 2x400, and then 200. So he didn't leave the rest on this one. 600, 133.8, and then 400s, 59.2, 57.7, and then the 200 in 25.4. Are you writing down your guess, Gordon, for the 8 and the 15?
I think it's both his. Okay. I'm gonna say
Hold on. Wait. I want to get other
I gotta
people
write down my
involved here.
guess. Okay, that last workout is the one that I feel like is the most tempo. Mean I'm
Reveal
not
it.
gonna get anything from a tempo workout. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? So he's run like 2 minute pace 3 times.
Well, the 25.4 on the 200.
Yeah, that helps.
That's
That's
pretty snappy.
snappy.
I'm
I've
going to
seen
say.
some. I've seen some 145 people run 25 seconds. All right,
So,
I'm. Yeah, I got mine, and then 1500. I have no idea what the 1500 is going to be, so I'm just going to.
well, this is tough because, yeah, you want to put something in line with the 8, but you don't know if he's more of an 8 runner or a 1500 runner. All right, let's see what
All
the
right,
chat says.
I got mine, and I wrote mine down.
Someone says 202, 158, another 158.
No, it's definitely not that. It's definitely faster than that.
417 on a 1500. Someone said.
Guys, you're way off. He's faster than that.
I
He's not
have.
running.
You want to
He
hear
ran
mine?
a 2 minute 800 3 times in a row.
Wait,
So
where
he's
do you see that
PR.
one?
Well, he ran 145 times 3. That an extra 15 seconds, and he's running 2 flat.
Okay.
His first workout was basically 3 by 2 minutes, 2-minute 800s.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, okay. I went optimistic. I went 150 for the 800.
I went a little more. I went 149,
Okay. And then what about the 15?
350.
Okay. I have 352. So I have 150 and 352.
I went a little faster because he just
Let's.
his 200 looked fast, and I looked at the video. He looks fit. He's got 6-pack abs. Give him sub 150.
Tampa
All right.
Eagle says 145 and 339. Matthew says 147 and 340. David says 345. So now we're really optimistic on the other side here. Let's see what it is. Colt, reveal.
Oh,
Whoa. Oh.
So close. You were so close.
I got the 350 right.
I got the
And I was
150
off.
right.
Look at that teamwork. And I was off by a second.
150.
That's not bad.
0.99. Hey, this segment's going to work. This segment is going to work. I was very worried about it. All right. Shout out to Philip for being the first participant on Guess My PR. We got one more from Levi. This is a 10K. We're guessing a 10K.
Ooh,
So
this is
all
gonna
the
be hard.
distance folks, wake up in the chat. I want some sprinters to write in and be like, just.
I did a
Need
hard
some
effort for
acceleration.
40 meters. That's my PR.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
for this
what do
one,
we got?
we've got a photo and 2 workouts for this one. So here's the photo.
Well,
I believe he's
who
at
is
the
he in the
front.
photo?
That's a good
Are we supposed to-
question. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what's his name?
No, don't go. No Googling.
Levi.
There's no.
Levi
There's no
I'm not
Chambers.
Googling.
Googling.
There's
I'm
no
not
Googling.
I'm not
Get
Googling.
this
I just want
man
to know
away
what his
from his
name was.
computer. His
I
name's
just want to know
Levi.
what his name was.
There's
Levi.
the first workout.
Oh, he's in Austin.
Long run, 549 average for 17 miles.
It's flat.
Okay. Was that Town Lake? Put that back up. Colt, you're not giving us
Town
enough
Lake,
time
yeah.
to like digest the workouts. I feel like
Yeah,
you're
man.
working
There you
against
go.
us here,
There you
Colt.
go.
All right, that's a
What did he
Town Lake
say?
loop. So we have
Well,
some home course advantage here, Gordon, because he did this workout in Austin.
Yeah, but he did
He's
say
from
felt
he's from
smooth,
Texas.
smelt smooth through 12, then was on the suffer train. Great
Mm-hmm.
run, great group of runners. Shout out to Colton for dying, then coming back from the dead to dropping me. So
Ooh,
he got dropped. And Colton, who's the Colton?
but by
Was
a
that
Colt. We
it's
know how
Colton?
reliable Colts are.
Yeah, was that Colt Joyce? Is that who that was?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so what
Hey,
was that?
Colt, are you a
17?
Colton? Oh,
Yeah,
you're not
but I go by
okay.
Colt.
Well, I would hope so.
Can you
We've
bring
been
that up
calling you
one more
Colt
time?
for
Yep. Yeah.
Bring
Yeah.
that up one more time. What was it?
cool.
Okay,
Colt.
so
I go by
549
Steve.
average. 549. Okay.
Yeah,
This
for
helps me
17
win my
miles. All right. Next workout. We get one more workout, right? I need
Workout.
more. I am not anywhere close. Here we go. 4 by 5 minutes, 6 by 200, 4 by 5 minutes. Wait, 5. Oh, 5. Wait, hold on.
4 by 5 minutes. Okay, so he's running that 5-minute pace. He's
Mile.
running for 5
No, no.
minutes.
Oh, at that pace, or is that supposed to say 4 by 5 miles?
No,
And
I
he went
think
529. Okay.
he was running for 5 minutes, but that was his mile pace for those 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. The 200s. I don't know what happened in those middle 200s.
Yeah.
30, 31, 39, 39. Did he stop to tie his shoe?
Maybe.
And then he goes 29 and then 28. Okay. How close are you to a guess
Getting
for a
there. I'm
10K
getting
PR?
there.
Man, too bad we need to grab Gordon's screen here.
We need to
Do
use the
math
whiteboards,
in my
maybe.
head.
We need to see. I'm doing this all based on just intuition. What do you think mile pace wise range for a 10K? Like, are you looking at those times and thinking, okay, that's what he can do his 10K on? Because he did. That's one workout. It's a pretty big session. Put that last one up again, Colt, please.
It's all going to be in this last one.
So that fluctuates there between 501 and 529. And he did 8 of them. So split the difference. Could he average 515s?
I mean, that's what I was. That's exactly what I was thinking. And 515 is 32:33. So I'm going to say I'll give him a little more fast. I'm going to say 32:20.
I'm going to say 30, 33 flat because those 39-second 200s worry me. So I'm going to go 33 flat. Don't put it up yet, Cole. Let's see people in the chat. Someone says 33, 39.
That's
Any other guesses here? Someone says 30, 30. Miles says, I'm a sprinter. I don't know what a 10K even is. 10K time even is.
Love it.
Matthew says 32:54. We need to start making this the pickup contest. This is the new, because this is we've been having a negative effect on the pickup thing because people get hurt or people scratch. This we at least know that there's going to be a definitive outcome. Okay.
I'm changing my answer to 32:30.
Okay, you're 32:30. I'm 33 flat. Colt, we are ready. Reveal the time for Levi. Whoa!
Oh my goodness. We're dumb. We don't know anything.
He's quick.
We're really dumb.
Wait a minute.
We screwed that one up. He was definitely feeling good on these
You know
workouts.
what? You know what though? Here's what our problem was. We paid way too much attention to the second and not enough to the first. Put the first one back up. I mean, the guy ran 17 miles at 5:49. I think that tells us a little bit more. 29? I was out by 3 minutes. My bad, Levi.
I feel like the longer stuff is going to be harder to figure out, to gauge. You're going to be, it's a lot easier to figure out based on the speed. You're like, all right, you can 400 meter reps. You can figure out what that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, like, it seemed kind of slow. I was like, 32, like, I don't know. I felt like I should have been more bullish. Dang it. All right. Now we learned our lesson. Thanks, Levi, for checking us and telling us that we're done with our 10K PR predictions.
Yeah, maybe the segment's not going to work. The segment may not work. This may end up being a catastrophe. I was way off. Philip though is watching live. He says, "I will take the six pack abs compliment. Well done, guys." So I like that pick a little better.
Yeah.
29.
Makes sense when you really think about it. Like he's probably able to like. What is 20? What he was
Yeah,
doing 30 flat. What is that pace? Divided by 6.2. Or 450. So he's doing 450s. Look, yeah,
yeah.
I mean it makes sense when we probably should have been like he can run like 5 minute pace, and then we would have been closer. But we didn't.
I immediately discounted that first workout for some reason, and then really fixated on the other one, and
Yeah.
got concerned about the 38, 39-second 200s, which are his cooldown pace apparently. So Matt brings up a good point. It's hard to know if it's a good feeling workout or a rough one to gauge how far off it is. Yeah, but I wanted to be within 3 minutes. I'm gonna try to do better next time. That was not a good showing from Kevin on that one. All right, let's close it out. We got some
I
YouTube.
did maybe unfortunately hinder your guys' guess on that last one. There is another result that I should have shown that I missed.
Oh, Colt.
Oh,
So one sec.
so
Hold on.
this
Hold
L
on.
doesn't count then.
No, you can definitely put yourself back in the win column. Let's see if this would have affected your guess. This is a Chambers. He arrived in third. That's on me. Travis just
He ran into Brian Clay. Well, Brian Clay's super fast, so we that should have impacted the total time, right, Gordon?
Well, you can't show us this Colt because that's his
Nope.
actual time.
That was the joke, Gordon.
True.
Oh.
True. There was part of the race that I could have showed you, and that's on me. My bad. Sorry, Chambers.
We would not have known based on looking at the race. I don't think. I mean, I guess it
I will
depends how
say
long
though,
it was.
seeing Philip Marone's like form did help me. You know, I
Got
was
you in the
going
right
off of a blind.
headspace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we did have that photo, but I didn't know which one he was in the photo. So,
Well, you got to
anyway.
identify the track. That's what the key is maybe not identifying him, but identifying the tracks, and you get an idea of the caliber of the race, and you're like, oh, that's
He's a
Azusa.
college
Oh, Brian
athlete.
Clay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I did know it is on the rundown here that he was in college. I didn't think that was that relevant.
That's relevant. That is relevant.
The 17 miles at 5:49 is just. I mean, I don't know why I thought 33 for that. That's silly. That was bad. I'm gonna do better next time.
We haven't been doing 10Ks enough in our lives.
I should have I should have known that. Okay, because here's what I base it off of: is it way faster than I could ever go, and that should be the starting point. I got really good at predicting Caitlin Tui's times one year in high school because they were right along my times. So there was like a 2-week stretch when I was just like nailing because it was like, oh, she did this in the 3K. What can she do in the 5 or whatever? And it was right in the neighborhood of what I had run. So I was like, I know it. It's going to be this little 10-second window. And I was feeling good. And then, like I said before, then you get any faster, then it's tough. Especially because with collegians, it's like they're not going to the well every single workout either. And pros, it's not a max effort, so you don't know. All right. YouTube comments. This will be a fun way to end the show. People telling us that we're dumb. Let's do that. Colt, we got some YouTube comments here. Actually, hold on. Before we do that, can we go back? Sorry. My fault. If you want to do the segment for next week, text PR 31032 or the coach segment, internet coach, where Gordon and I give you advice. I don't know if you'd want it after this, 31032, or leave a YouTube comment or email FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Now, let's get to the best YouTube comments from the week. First one here, responding to the Ferdinand Oman Yala video. We're going to go through these quick, Gordon. For some reason, Americans have an excuse every time a non-American wins. I think this is in reference to you saying there might have been a false start.
Yeah, that's a fair criticism. I accept that, but I will say this: that's not 100% true because when Sha'Carri lost, I wasn't like, well, baby. No, I was like, Jamaicans are better right now. So it's not all the case, but there are some times, and I believe that Coleman still won that 60. based on the little evidence.
I wasn't
And
I wasn't there for that one. I would have disagreed vehemently with you. So it's not all Americans. All
but
right.
yeah, for Ferdinand, he legitimately won that race. I accept your criticism.
Next one. Keep it going. Y'all need to relax and stop being so quick to assume. It is not his time to run. This is about Christian Coleman. Super fast now, plus the conditions weren't ideal for sprinting. It was chilly, plus traveling overseas takes a few days to settle. This is about Christian Coleman's 100-meter opener from Olympic season. Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of these are just me being channeled in the comments so far. I disagreed on the false start thing, and I disagreed that the sky was falling because Christian Coleman ran 10-0 in a race where he had no competition. So this is just basically YouTube comments directed at Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think that Coleman could have ran faster and should have ran faster. I have high expectations for the
Yeah,
defending world champion
fair.
who
Fair.
just almost won world indoors, or maybe did win world indoors. We don't know.
Next up. All right, from Judson responding to the Kentucky Derby, if it was track comparisons, shouldn't have run off the rail like Paul Chelimo does, and they would have gone around instead of going straight up without anyone in the way. Yeah, so Rich Strike did have that. They just held that inside line the entire time, and I feel as if Paul Chelimo was jockeying some of those other horses, he would have just at least made the horse run farther out. How aware are the horses of what's going on here? Do you think
I don't
they're
know.
just gonna go? They're just gonna go
I
with
think
the
they're like, why are you
jockey.
hitting me? Why are you hitting me? All right, I'll keep going, but tell me when you'll stop hitting me is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
No, but you would think maybe if like the jockeys have like mirrors in their glasses or something like that, so they can look like rear view mirrors, so they can see
Mm-hmm.
who's coming up behind them. And if that
Yeah.
is true, it would make sense to like, I'm gonna get in your way and like pull it
Mm-hmm.
Paul Chelimo and just kind of move over so Rich Strike doesn't have the free lane in the inside. Also,
They are
it is crazy when you
bigger.
look at a jockey's helmet, they wear like 40 goggles.
Mm.
Do you know that?
40? Is
Or
that the
like
official number?
maybe 10. They wear like 10 goggles, and then every like 10 seconds they remove one of the goggles so they can have all the mud taken off there so they can see. Because it gets covered in mud, rip off another pair, then they have fresh eyes, and then keep ripping it up until you get down to your final goggle.
Feel like there could be an invention that would solve all that.
I don't know. You're having
Wipe
literally mud just flying into your face. It's kind of hard. And
wipers? But isn't it
I don't think
inefficient?
little electronic wipers are going to move like giant clogs of mud on your face.
It just seems inefficient every time you're gonna grab. Like you just think of the wind resistance. Listen, for a while people high jumped scissor style, and then Dick Fosbury came along. I'm saying windshield wipers on jockey goggles need to be considered. All right, next comment. I'm just surprised that that's the solution to it. I, yeah. Anyway, okay, here we go. This is about Shelley and Fraser Price from Colburn. Recently saw some track analyst stating that Jamaican spinners does best in their 30s while others on the decline, stating that naturally grown food they consume, no processed food in addition to training, psychology, etc. I mean, there's always these things about this is why Jamaicans are faster and etc. etc. I think Shelley and Fraser Price is just a phenomenal athlete and has been for a while and has done a good job in her career, just being consistent, being well prepared. I don't think there's some one magic thing that makes
I think
them
yeah, I think
fast.
Shelly-Ann is definitely an outlier because even some other like Asafa Powell he was still like going into meets when he was in his mid 30s, but he was never a factor the way Shelly-Ann is going to be a factor. So I think
Hmm. Or
I mean
Bolt.
Bolt was done by like 32, right?
That's what I'm saying. She's an outlier amongst outliers, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. I
I mean,
think
imagine if Bolt had the second half of his career the way. I mean, Fraser Price is running PRs right now. Imagine if
yeah,
Bolt was out there running 9.58,
at like 33.
9.56.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be crazy.
Hey man. Maybe it could be a thing with the female body, right? Maybe you do see a lot more older women able to achieve like new greatness into their 30s more often than men. So it could be something to do with the way like the physical biology of a woman is able to like preserve their peak athletic ability later into life. You know, you see a lot more women in their 30s PRing than you do see men in their 30s PRing when it comes at least to distance races. You see that happen a lot often. So maybe it's something about that, and that she's be able to take that and package it into 100-meter sprinting at a world class level, right? So that's even crazier, right? Because she's not
Yeah,
just a
it's just
regular person who's PRing for fun. She's the best in the world.
yeah, her baseline was already really fast, and then she got faster the last couple of years. It's remarkable. All right, next one.
Great analysis.
I know. Responding to the video, better 400-meter runner Fred Curley or Michael Norman? Mr. West 1600. Fred Curley has Michael Norman's number right now. Fair.
Good spelling of Curly. I like that.
Put that one back up. I didn't even say it.
Curly, Kerley,
Oh.
Curly.
Oh.
Fred Curley, does he have Mr. Michael Norman's number? I mean, I'm sure they text. Like, I'm sure they have each other's phone numbers. That's probably a thing. They're both great athletes in the U.S.
You're not even a dad, and you're making that joke.
uh, yeah, he
They,
does. I mean,
they
he
didn't
beat him
run
in
the
the
same
two.
event though. They didn't run the same event last year though. I
Yeah,
have no doubt
but
Curly would have been fine because Curly was good at everything. So yeah, no, I don't think that's a
I mean, I
crazy
think ever since
statement.
Curly beat Norman in what year was it? Was it the
19.
2019 year?
Yeah.
He's had his number ever since.
Yep.
There has yet to be a moment when Norman's like
Mhm.
gotten back at him, like clapped back for that victory. That victory in 2019 USA's has yet to be overturned via a new result because they ran the 200. Curly beat him in the two.
Yeah.
Curly's not even training for the 400 and is running equal, if not better, 400s than Norman. So like,
Sure. They just haven't run that much. But the success of the last couple of years speaks for itself. All right, we got a couple more here. Let's keep it rolling. Going into extra time here.
screen grab.
Great screen grab there. Comment on the Kick of the Week video with Emmanuel Yanyani. Robin says Emmanuel is crazy and Kibit. They are the future of the 800. Yeah, I want to see Wanyoni run more because I think he's an intriguing prospect to run 145 in those weird conditions. And we just talked before about how the 800 is wide open, especially if Brazier's not Brazier. Career can reach those heights, but who else can really get down there? You know, does Amos have a throwback season in him? Maybe.
Been saying that for Amos for the past decade.
Well, yeah. Well, the issue's always been the championships with him, right? So ever since 2012. But I think it's right for someone to step in there, and maybe Wanyoni's that guy. He's only 17.
Yeah, could be. The 800 is too chaotic for me to even have an opinion yet. That's why I need Brazier to run fast so then I can have my opinion.
No opinion, Gordon. That's been a theme over
No
the past
opinion,
couple of
Gordon.
weeks. It's been
It's my new
interesting.
Yeah.
And when you do have the opinions, they're just way wrong. All right. How many more we have left, Colt?
Oh wow, we have a lot.
4 left. We gotta get going here. This is from Water Aerobics. Based on Kevin's logic, a 10:00 run by an American is equal to 9:80 run by a non-American. On what basis do you have Coleman as top 2 in the 100? There's no top 2. Season's way too
Ooh.
early to come up with a top 2. Kevin just does not want to give credit to Omanyala. Wait, so what is? Hold on. Put that back up again. What are we saying here? Water Aerobics. Great name, by the way.
Well, he's saying basically Coleman's run 10:0. Why are you
Yeah.
ranking him top 2 in the world, whereas a guy
Oh,
running 9:8 is not top 2? So are you saying,
real
you know,
simple. I mean,
what does
altitude does matter. Altitude. I put it into your favorite calculator. Altitude plus the 2.0. It's a high 99. With competition. Coleman's the reigning world champ. Coleman's run 9.7. Do I have to keep going? Do I have to list more reasons why Christian
well,
Coleman?
what about my argument is 9:8 is faster than 10:09.
It is if you remove all context. and want to put everything into a meet in the beginning of May.
I don't know. Let me look at my number calculator. Is 9.8 faster than 10.09?
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
do
it
you want
is.
me to do the calculator again?
So
I'll do the calculator.
if that's faster, shouldn't that person
Wind
be
and
faster than the other person?
altitude. I know
I
you
don't
know
need
this.
no calculator, altitude, wind,
What
all
was it?
that
985?
chaos.
What was it?
Stop. I don't even know. I'm
2.0.
I mean, you're basically going off of what Coleman did in 2019 as a reason to keep him top 2.
And indoors.
Yeah, but
I mean,
60? Come on. 60?
all right. Hold on, hold
60 is
on. And
ridiculous.
that's more ridiculous than going off of what Coleman did in a Continental Tour opener in Tokyo. I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
That's actually a good question. I think a Continental Tour Tokyo May run is more relevant to someone's ability than something that happened 3 years ago. 100%. 100%.
What about something they did a couple months ago in
I would
indoors?
agree with that. What did they do a couple months ago? They ran an event that
They
doesn't
almost
exist in outdoor
well,
track and field.
they almost won World Indoors. They ran 6.4s again, and I have them behind Jacobs for that reason. I think the results should matter, but you have to put them in context. The rankings are basically obviously subjective, but it's if they all raced right now, who would win? That's who I think would win on the same track at the same time. And you put Omanyala's time in. Again, I don't think these things are the gospel, but 985 at the altitude with a 2.0 goes to 998, 9.98. If he ran 9.98, right, in Florida, in Paris, or whatever, the reaction would be different. So we just can't remove all context. So
I will say
Omanyala,
though,
I'll have Omanyala ahead of Curly. They ran the same time. I would probably have Omanyala third right now. I need to update those today, but we can't just do the results based on the most recent thing that happened if they're not running head to head. At the very least, they need to be running head to head.
yeah. I will say I am a little concerned that Coleman isn't going to be as
You're very
much of a
concerned with
gold medal challenger as we think he will be. I'm not throwing
very
it out
concerned
that
about Coleman.
yeah, I'm just a little concerned. A little concerned. I'm not all the way out, but there's part of me that's like,
Omanyala was
I'm gonna be like,
Omanyala was
I
great.
knew it. Yeah.
He was in the mix. He was great. He ran
He
really
also runs
well.
with suspenders, which is great.
He did what he had to do, right? But if they race same time, same place right now, everybody together, I would have Jacobs 1, Coleman 2. Next one. Thanks for covering track. This is from Adrian. Even though your takes are wild. All right, that's just a positive one, randomly thrown in
Yeah.
there. Thanks to
Yeah. What are we doing here?
yeah. Come on, Travis. We're trying to make ourselves feel better. From Boxer Test. Records generally stand for 15 years. The successor to the Speed King throne should be here now, but you have to break all the records of the previous Speed King, and Bolt's records are no joke over 12 years. 12 years! 3 exclamation marks. This is about Ari Knighton. Okay, so listen. There's the records, and then there's the medals and the dominance. And then there's that third piece of Bolt just being this transcendent figure because of his presence on the track. So we're not even going to talk about that third part
And
because
his
that's
last
this.
name.
Okay, so that's the fourth part. Fourth part we can't fix. Third part, it's an intangible. The second part about the dominance from '08 to 16 with very few losses in between, although he did lose to more than 2 people during his career. Actually from '08 to 16, what Gay, Gatlin, and Blake, so that was 3.
Well, you could say he
Um,
lost to the entire
oh yeah, Daegu, false start.
they
Yep.
yeah. Lost to all of them.
So as I said, Knighton may one day get that record. He's the best candidate that we have just because of his age and how fast he's already run. But that doesn't mean that he's going to have the medal success that Bolt has. It doesn't mean he's going to have the longevity. So when I mention his name in the same breath, it's only to say that this is the first time when that comparison is actually in the same ballpark in at least one of the areas that we were talking about.
You said it all.
Hey, thanks. Thanks.
Is that it? Is that all the comments? Jacobs, Coleman, Curley, and May DeGrasse instead of one of them. ABL quality.
Men's 100 medals. Keep that one up, Colt. I need to read that again. Jacobs, Coleman, Curley, and maybe DeGrasse. Yeah, I mean, DeGrasse, all he does is get medals. So, I mean, I would not count out Andre DeGrasse. And if you want to put Omanyala in there as a medal contender too, I wouldn't argue with you. How many men do you think can win gold in the 100? You said you're worried about Coleman. How many men can win gold in the 100?
In the 100? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people can.
Here, let me just do it this way. Can Coleman win gold?
Yeah, he can, yes.
Can Jacobs win gold?
Yes, he can. But the word can is different for every athlete.
Okay, well, just tell me your list then. I didn't want to hold monologue on it. Just who's your list right now?
I mean, I just talked about how I thought Coleman, I'm kind of worried about him, but then I feel weird putting him on my list. But if I got to make a list, I got to make a list. The list is going to be Jacobs. It's going to be Curley. It's going to be Bromell. It's going to be Coleman. And it's going to be DeGrasse.
So you have 5.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Ferdinand. Not there yet. Omanyala.
You need more.
Not seeing it yet.
You need more. Let me look at his. Let me look at Omanyala real quick. I just want to pull up his records here. Thanks everybody who wrote in for the YouTube comment.
Yeah, keep writing YouTube. Like, subscribe. Tell your friends to
All that's-
subscribe. We're at what?
Yeah.
13.8 thousand YouTube subscribers? Let's get that number up. Let's get to 14,000. And then I'll also get to 15,000. And then we'll just keep going to the moon.
Yeah.
Let's get to 20K.
Yeah, and you can become a member, or you can, what is it? Join? Hit the join button.
Yeah, join. Become a member. Support you or me.
Bonus pod where
Bonus
Gordon
pod.
and I talk about who hasn't raced this year yet. You can argue with us about rankings. The tone or the vibe of all those comments is just people wanting, this ranking, right? It's all about rankings.
Yeah.
I want to know who's where, basically. And then people get mad about it, regardless of what you put on there. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough when you don't have people running against each other. And then you don't have people debut. And then you're trying to weight it. So Omanyala, he ran the 977 in Nairobi, 985 in Nairobi again. Then last year he ran an 86 and a 96. And he ran a 98 this year. So he's run sub 10 6 times. 3 of them were at altitude. 664 in the semis of the 60 at World Indoors. Didn't make the final at World Indoors in the 60.
There's no indoor Olympics, man. I'm not talking about. We're done with World Indoors. Let's not reference World Indoors anymore.
No, I'm just
put a
giving
ban on
you.
World
I'm
Indoor
just going I'm going back in time here. Not a slight. Remember 77 to end the year last year against Bromell, and then the Olympics last year he ran 10 flat but didn't get out of the semis. So, just want to give people more bio on Omanyala, former rugby player. That's it.
Like and subscribe. We're done. We're going long.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on Friday.
Thanks, Colt. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe, like, text. See ya.